Um, Hi guys. The North Ryde Church think it's while they say talk about trusting the blood, it's all double talk with them. They're preaching another gospel, especially Peter Beeby. He's preached Paul's gospel. Then he says you have to give your life to the Lord for salvation. That's Lordship salvation. And the Romans 10:13. That's what they believe. Then Jill Beeby said that it was good that every time I asked Jesus into my life so many 100 times, she said good. It didn't bother her, right? That I was stressed out. It actually didn't bother her, right? And I have a problem with that, where now I don't stress out about my salvation because I'm trusting in the blood atonement, where these people from North Ryde truly reject the blood atonement of Jesus. So the ones who are truly rejecting the blood atonement of Jesus are lost, including Peter Beeby and Jill Beeby. Right? That's and Ed talks more about this in this video. I'm going to watch a small part. Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. In this video, I'm going to deal with the issue of Romans 10 and the fact that there are three ways of getting saved in Romans 10, 9, and 10. Salvation by confession. Romans 10:13, salvation by prayer. Or Romans 10:14, salvation by faith.
Yep, by faith.
Well, Robert Baker put up a video asking without trusting.
I'm against asking full stop.
Quotes Buckman. And you get a letter from Buckman. Buckman knows what he was talking about.
Peter Beeby and the North Ryde Church and Steve Malonis is for the asking.
I want you to read this with me. So you see, Robert Breaker's not teaching heresy. He's teaching gospel. What he was taught in Bible school from his teacher. He says now, well, up here he says, I don't teach anybody they're saved until they realize their own righteousness will land them in hell. I believe a man has to be saved from something, and I believe he's saved from hell, and I believe until he sees his own goodness can't save him, the prayers don't amount to a hill of beans. Now, a man can ask Jesus Christ to save him, and then months later or years later, the Lord may cash in and bring the man to the point of salvation.
A man can ask Jesus to save him, and then months later or years later, the Lord may cash in and bring the man to the point of salvation because he asked. Well, we act like Romans 10:14 didn't exist, people. Romans 10:14 says, how then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? They want to act like Romans 10:14 doesn't exist. But what's going on here?
Because he asked. Because the book says, whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. But if he doesn't give up his self-righteousness, the prayer is useless. Okay? So what happens if a person asks God to save them, but they're not trusting in the gospel? Or they're trusting in their own righteousness, or in their church attendance, or in their water baptism, or in their works? What if they're trusting...
Oh, and they're asking. How about that?
Trusting in something other than the atonement of Christ.
Now, here's what Buckman said in his notes. See? Here's what he says. You can't trust these guys. They're not going to get through the thick heads that the salvation 10, Romans 10, 9, 10, and 10:13 is not dealing with eternal salvation. None of these guys can figure this out. Here's what Buckman says after giving that letter to Breaker's father. 10:13. This is what caused a panic in hell and celebration in heaven. God either told the truth or he didn't. If you call upon his name for salvation as found in verses 9 through 10, okay, so he's comparing Romans 10, 9, 10 with 10:13. He saves you whether you know it or not.
Well, I know it because I'm trusting in the blood.
If you called upon his name as found in the passage and he did not save you, then he lied. So somebody is lying if you doubt your salvation after you've called upon his name, either you or him. You don't have to really guess which one. He's a lunatic. They should ignore Romans 10:14. Asking without trusting. It's supposed to be trusting without asking. You don't have to ask. So Breaker bringing up this nonsense, asking without trusting, as if somehow the asking is okay if you trust. No, you don't need to ask.
Exactly,
now,
Ed.
You got 3 ways of salvation.
And I'm totally against the asking. It never saved me.
Or prayer, or faith. If it's by faith, then it can't be by confession and prayer. That means the salvation, Romans 10:9-10 and 10:13 can't be dealing with eternal salvation. Ruckman couldn't get that through his thick head.
That's right. And that's what the North Right Church can't get through their thick heads. Most of them, if they're not trusting the blood atonement of Jesus, then they're lost.
Because when it came down to it, he said, oh no, it's salvation. Ignoring Romans 10:14. He doesn't even have a note of Romans 10:14. Let me show you. Yeah, 10:21. So this is what you're dealing with these guys. You've got to get to the point. Romans 10 is a minefield. When a guy goes in there, you know what Quaker thinks when he reads Romans 10:9-10? He thinks that the confession
Lordship
is
salvation. That's what.
With the heart means
North Right Church
believeth unto righteousness, and he's reading not confession and confession is made unto salvation. That confession is made because of salvation. Unto doesn't mean because. Unto means to. That salvation there is not the result, because you get saved as soon as you believe in the heart.
Yep. And as soon as you trust in the blood atonement of Jesus.
So what confession is this? It can't be eternal salvation. Confession is made to self. Confession is made that if thou confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus, and shalt believe in thine heart that God hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. For with the heart man believeth unto righteousness. When are you saved? When you believe in the heart. You believe. And with the mouth, confession is made unto salvation. It's not made because of salvation. See, that's how all these guys want to read it. All these guys want to go up and say, well, it's like, because of salvation. Or if you get saved, you're gonna confess. No, that's not what the verse is saying. That verse is saying with the mouth, confession is made unto salvation. To salvation. Salvation results from that confession. That's what the verse is saying. It's not saying you're confessing because you're saved. It's a confession there that results in salvation. So you got to figure out what that salvation is, people. These guys can't figure it out. Good Breaker. I think that works.
I'm against the sinner's prayer, the asking completely, 100%.
That's how Brian Dengler is. Buckman's ain't saying you're going to get saved whether you know it or not. They can't read Romans 10:14. They got the whole order messed up because they couldn't figure out what that salvation is relating to, and they refused to accept it's because they want to get rid of sinner's prayer. And then Breaker's got the asking without trusting. You don't ask at all. It's trusting without asking. So let's not put this up. You have a choice in Romans 10. That's why the Romans road love people. Romans bring people in there, take them right off the cliff. Everyone's reading Romans 10:9-10 wrong.
Yep.
They all want to say confession. They all want to make a confession. Oh, it's confession because you're salvation. Like you're confessing after you're saved. No, that's confession unto salvation. That confession from the mouth is resulting in a kind of salvation. Some kind of salvation. Now we know with the heart, man believe unto righteousness. That means as soon as you believe in the heart, you're saved. You don't need your mouth to confess anything. This is where the confusion's coming from, people. Because these guys can't read. Robert Breaker won't read the verse. Ruckman won't read the verse, Romans 10:13. None of these guys read the verse correctly. Or they want salvation to be based on prayer. So Uckman conned Robert Blake. Robert Blake is waving the thing up there. Look at that. And I say, blah, 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 blah. Anybody else says, you go 10:13, Romans 10:9-10. I'll read it again. He's got the note from 10:13. This is what causes panic in hell and its salvation in heaven. No, faith. Faith causes the salvation in heaven, people. A person getting saved.
That's right.
Eternally saved.
Exactly.
Not.
Northright Church has got salvation wrong. Ed has salvation right. And Jill Beeby and Peter Beeby will have to answer to the Lord, right? Because they have a problem with they are happy that I kept on asking Jesus for salvation and having problem. I have a problem with that, and they have to answer to the Lord. If they're saved, only if they're trusting the blood atonement, the full finished work, and not in their asking. Right? If they're trusting in their asking, then they're lost. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, bye.